Irish are the funniest of white people.
Irish?
Sorry.
Maybe it's because you guys drink a lot. You guys.
I'm not Irish.
I was gonna say, how dare you?
I'm sorry for saying you guys. How dare you? Oh yeah, you're like man. You're like Mail Order Bride.
Do I look Irish?
Yeah, you're fine.
She looked Irish.
Is that the one with Kevin Garnett? And
No, that's Uncut Gems.
oh, Uncut Gems.
But Jews love basketball, so I feel like
Hustle.
this is like
He's
the
got
final.
The son that plays in, right? That he's watching or something.
Yeah, he's got the foreign player.
He's like a scout.
that
Yeah,
he
he's a
brought
scout.
to the US.
Yeah.
So was it good?
It was good, and then like the Kyrie thing kind of like because like basketball is like so. I don't know if Jews just love it or it's a big clientele for that. It's just that I've noticed like JCCs, there's always a game there more than like Christian. I don't know compared to like Christian communities. I don't.
Why do you think Jews love basketball?
I don't
more
know.
than
I'm
the
trying to
average?
figure it out.
They just
Are
want to
Jews-
take all of black culture for some reason.
think so?
No, I'm joking.
That is
running-
hilarious.
No,
but
I'm
no.
just riffing off
We-
what Chappelle said.
Dude,
for
we
the
do that with
record.
predatory record contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
Not basketball. Maybe agents. Maybe there's that predatory
Yeah,
agent
there
feel.
you
And that's a
facts.
stereotype I kind of like want to defeat, that we're not trying to like consume like black art and monetize it for ourselves.
We don't think that about you.
Okay, thank you. I
Well,
appreciate it.
to even claim that though, like assumes the whole Jewish conspiracy thing, and then it's like, oh, this isn't comfy.
Yeah, like there's like videos of like Lear Cohen who owns like a hip hop label, and he's like, why would you put somebody who promotes like sex and violence and drugs? And he's like, well, I want to make money, and I'm like, dude. Whoever, like, I don't even think this is a real clip. Like, this has to be Nazi propaganda. Like, who's saying that and saying that confidently?
So I have this theory that Jews are the blackest of white people.
Yeah,
That is
Because,
true.
You know,
Most marginalized.
yeah,
of the
they're
white
most
people?
marginalized.
Yeah.
They have the same. I don't know about the same, but probably of white people, they've been the most tormented. So they
That's
have the
sad
best
story.
sense of humors of white people because I think
Right,
humor comes from
right.
pain and grief.
It's also a matriarch. The mother decides a lot of shit, dude.
I feel like I have two
That's true.
comments on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Irish are the funniest of white people.
Irish?
Sorry.
Maybe it's because you guys drink a lot. You guys.
I'm not Irish.
I was gonna say, how dare you?
I'm sorry for saying you guys.
How
dare you? Oh yeah, you're like man. You're like Mail Order
Do
Bride.
I look Irish?
Yeah, you're fine.
She
Yeah.
looked Irish.
I'm
How dare I?
literally so Soviet.
I feel like this is like misgendering somebody. This is like,
This
how
is
dare
worse
you?
than-
Yeah, you're
You've
getting
been called
canceled.
Ukrainian.
I don't like being compared to the Irish because no, not the Irish. Oh, they're dirty. They're dirty.
Wow.
They took potato. They couldn't grow potatoes. They starved. We turned it into vodka. You see?
See,
Oh.
and people try to say Europeans aren't racist, and they really
is so
are.
base.
They hate
Dude,
each
Dude,
other.
this is so
no
base.
love on earth will ever tell you they're not racist.
Exactly.
I believe
They are
that. They're the most.
Racist.
They're the
Also-
most. Yeah, they hate.
Also, Jews are not the most oppressed. It's definitely like
What?
trailer park white people.
Oh yeah,
Are
poor
not
whites. We were
today.
just talking about them, dude. They run the
Poor
country.
Poor whites run the country.
Yeah,
They got
dude.
Trump
Some
elected, I guess,
some
huh?
dumbass with an 85 IQ putting up sheetrock is the reason this country exists still.
Well, but they don't have this. Poor whites don't necessarily have the same tragic.
No, they don't.
Tragic history.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody really knows it.
They don't. They have Kid Rock.
Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody
It's been
does.
swept under the rug.
We're gonna be, tell us about it all.
Yeah, they rub it in our face. Yeah. It's weird that Jews made King of the Hill.
They
Like produced
what?
it. Like
They
a
made
bunch
it?
of like I think it was mostly Jewish producers that made King of the Hill, which is a great show. But it's like they purposefully encompassed like middle America, if you think about it. That's why I'm kind of obsessed with that show a little bit, is that like
Middle America, yeah.
envision every family that makes $70K a year. And that's it. And they were able to encompass that. And I know this sounds weird, like I kind of want to normalize like a middle class like Jewry. Like not all Jews have like amounts of wealth. Like I think it's good just seeing like poor like Asians, Indians, and Jews. Does that make sense? Like to see white trash that.
But there are
like we're also failures. You know what I mean?
You're assuming that there are poor Indians and Asians in this country. Yeah, that's a bold.
I ain't seen it.
Some guy who has to blow into a breathalyzer to ride his magic carpet.
Okay.
SNL can do it, but he can't wait.
And that's what gets me cut off.
And is this QAnon?
And that's the.
No, I love how you guys are like, yeah, just come over. We might be in the middle of the podcast. I like come in. You guys are doing race science in here. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I wanted to talk
It's
about.
wild, you know? Well, and eventually, I think we're going to talk about a conspiracy.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a conspiracy to bring Kanye down.
There's like not even a conspiracy to bring Kanye down. I don't know. This sounds weird because Kyrie found it on an Amazon Prime documentary.
Right.
So and Jeff Bezos is bald.
That's true.
So I'm saying he could be a skinhead.
Oh, no.
Or a lizard.
Isn't Bezos
Fucking
Jewish?
stupid. No, I don't think he is.
No?
No.
He's Hispanic of
Is
some
he?
kind. He's like South American
He's gotta be
background.
South. Oh, hey man. A lot of South Americans came from Germany.
If he's Argentinian, then we know.
Dude, there was this guy in the NBA named Herman Mueller.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, come on, bro. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, let's not be stupid here. Like blonde hair, blue eyes, they're not fooling me.
I did a 23andMe, and I have 2% Ashkenazi Jew in me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You finally get that loan approved.
Just bring the results to the bank.
Wait. If you're the most marginalized white and you're also...
Yeah, I'm double oppressed.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
I want
You get all the
Kwanzaa and...
Oh,
You-
dude.
Too bad you should have... If you were a woman, though, also.
Yeah, that's the
That'd
thing.
be the trifecta.
Yeah, dude.
Trifecta.
You should start going for non-binary. You should start changing your pronouns.
Trans, yeah.
Change your pronouns. There you go.
I did every loan I applied for, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I used to babysit. Not babysit. I watched a mentally handicapped kid. His name was AJ. And I was talking about, hey man, I was thinking about getting like a dangling earring, maybe a Star of David, maybe some chains or some necklaces. I'm trying to feel more cool. And I'm driving him like to school. And then he looks at me and he says, Harrison, that's for ladies. So I was like, even this like, this mentally deficient like teenager was telling me like, come on, dude, like that's some chick shit. Like that he's so hyper masculine. It's like, come on, dude.
So you didn't get a dangling
No,
earring?
he bullied me out of
He
it.
bullied you out of it. That's
Dude.
amazing.
Shout out AJ, dude. He made the right move.
Shout out to
AJ
my
saved me from
bully.
being too androgynous. I could always go back to it, but I'll be like one of those androgynous, like 7-year-old Jewish guys who are balding or whatever. You know, I think I'll just start
Got the
looking like
little
Ron
ponytail
Jeremy.
and the-
Yeah, exactly.
Dangly earring.
I don't know. I don't know if I could be ponytail guy.
You need a ponytail guy?
I couldn't do it.
There's not a lot of
'cause
sex appeal with ponytail guy. You gotta be good at like a martial
You
art or
gotta
something.
have like
Like Steven Seagal.
uppity.
Yeah.
You gotta have like a Giga Chad chin.
Friend of-
Yeah, you
and
do.
then also
Friend of
be
Putin.
just like 230 pounds of muscle to
Yeah,
pull it
you
off.
have to be a human building when you walk into a place. Yeah, I don't think a ponytail is the right move, dude. For like when you get older, a balding ponytail.
So my uncle when I was a kid. You haven't seen what?
I haven't seen many of
Balding
those.
ponytails.
Well,
My
there
old
you
roommate
go.
had one.
My uncle, when I was a kid, had a mullet. And I remember one day I told him, he was like, oh, I just got my hair cut. And I was like, oh, yeah, it looks good. And I was like, you've got a mullet. And he goes, well, I don't know what a mullet is. I just know it looks good on me.
Hell
And
yeah.
I said, okay. And this man had to be 45 at this time. So he did know, probably, I'm sure. He had to know what a mullet was. But he was so confident and willing to just be like, this is what I like. And sometimes he wore it in a braid.
And
Sometimes he wore it in a ponytail. Mostly it was just loose, just like flowing around his shoulders. Right? And it was like, business in the front. Very
flaps.
business in the front.
Didn't pull it off though.
I mean, that's what he always had. So in my mind, I can't picture him without it. Like literally, that's what he looks like. So I guess he absolutely did.
Yeah.
If
I
you
think there's
picture a
something.
person.
I think there's something to add on to that. I think
Yeah.
when we talk about fat guy confidence, There's also bad hair confidence.
Bad hair confidence.
Yeah, when you see a guy with like a shitty haircut and he's just like
Matthew
Absolutely.
Shiplet taught me that.
Matthew Shiplet had that. Who I'm just trying to think.
You
I
love
had
to
like an
call people
old
out,
like
don't you?
coworker
Yeah, yeah.
with
Oh
just
my
a
God,
bad
these
haircut,
poor
like a
people,
bowl
first
cut,
and
but could
last.
sell the shit out of a roof.
You notice I didn't say my uncle's name.
I think we should bring back the bowl cut.
The bowl cut? Yes.
No.
All my
Because like I know
brothers
this
have
sounds
the bowl
fucked
cut.
up, but like a lot of international students that I've seen and worked with, but a lot of them at NC State, Asian dudes straight up bowl cut, ball out, dude.
It actually
Like
is
they
good.
ball, yeah, they ball. They have there's a confidence to a
That
bowl
is a
cut.
look, yeah, for sure.
We're like
There's a
It
proper
made a
bowl
comeback for a
cut too,
while.
where there's
Yeah.
enough finesse to it, you know.
there's like a
with the
fade a little bit
shape.
of
yeah,
it.
Exactly.
There's like a maybe a design he can sneak in.
A
Sure.
design.
yeah, like one
Oliver
of those
Tree, the
fades.
people of the bowl cut.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think a bowl cut. A bowl cut on white, I don't know. It's got to look a certain way because it curls. It's too floppy. Like it's got to be like a little. It's got to be short because you can't do a long hair bowl cut.
I think you're close. No.
I'm close, dude. I
Yeah.
know because I have I have thin hair. So like I wish that's the one thing I wish I like got from Ashkenazi Jews is like just a big rug here, but it just transplanted to my back for some reason. Yeah. I wish I didn't hate like I don't like how in America we hate body hair.
I like body hair.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't shave my chest, so I don't know what that says about me.
My
but
girl and I are we
pretty
let the
hairy?
hair hang out, but I should trim my face a little bit.
grotesque, but there's a lot.
I like to trim my face a little.
I think that's nice. I think
Yeah.
Arab guys have it right.
Yeah.
Like with
yeah.
the
The
chest
Habibis know what
hair.
they're doing.
And then like the perfect beard.
Oh,
I
like a
love-
chin strap?
You like that?
You like a chin strap?
I like the Mediterranean look.
Okay.
Oh,
Very.
that's
I
not
like a
quite
burly
a
man,
chin
too.
strap.
Like
It's a
chest
little
hair.
classier.
Although I don't know what they're called. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, the chin strap beard.
it looks
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, I like the hair on a man. I like a man to look like a
Yeah,
man.
like a big Greek.
Every guy in here is like, you like a chin strap beard?
Yeah, no,
What the fuck
a chin
is
strap
wrong
beard
with
is like the
you?
douchebag of facial hair. It is definitely like the monster energy of
You know-
like.
Every guy is like,
You know
oh, at
what?
least I don't have a chin strap beard.
I heard
Yeah.
it was
It's
that,
definitely the affliction T-shirt of facial hair.
I heard it was that mustache.
Which
A mustache is very.
The pencil stack.
This is a failed attempt. First of all,
What's that?
this is a failed attempt. This is
failed
this
attempt,
is this is
okay,
take number
well.
3, dude. Like this is not. It's not a solidified thing, but like a cop stash is like a Ron Swanson level, like a Pringles level stash.
Oh no.
Is
that what you were-
feared? Is feared? That's a dictator stash.
That's Stalin energy.
That is stolen energy, dude. You walk into a room with like a
Castro
shirt tucked
energy.
in, you're getting everything you want, dude. That is a high value, high T male.
Room stash.
Not in this area.
Maybe you'll be able to like steal a bunch of rings or something. But I don't know.
Rings?
Yeah, I feel like guys who have the mustache like that now are all like guys in their
Indie guys?
20s who wear jewelry.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
the millennials ruined it.
Yeah, millennials. We definitely gentrified the mustache. Back then, like real men had it. Real men who could like fucking put up shingles and shit.
Well, how old are all you guys?
I'm
Let's get
24.
ages.
20,
24?
Yes, sir.
25.
Really?
I'm
25?
25.
25?
I'm 37.
37? Arturo, how old are
37,
you?
baby.
Wow. I'm about to be 45 in like 6 weeks.
Dude,
You guys are all
what do you do with
babies.
your skin, dude?
It's that black Puerto Rican mix, man. You
Black
know?
don't
Man,
crack.
hey.
He's the Asian and the man.
Yeah, the Asian and the
That's
black.
very smart. Your parents were really thinking.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't like it when I was in high school, but I like
No,
it now.
I hear
you
you.
know?
Well, nobody likes being different in high school. You're like, oh my gosh, I would really like.
Well,
to
your
fit in,"
ladies
and you're
like it
trying
now.
so
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. At least I like it now. It's nice now. It'll keep me.
But
looking
that's what
young.
happens is if you're different in high school and then you grow up and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. Actually, this worked out great for me. I'm so glad that my name's not, I would say a name, but I like all those people and your name's beautiful. So something basic, some bitch you don't know.
Right.
So, are you guys considered millennials or?
Gen
No, they're
Z,
Gen Z.
like barely Gen Z.
Okay,
Yeah,
barely Gen
millennials are like minimum, like what, 28 now, probably.
Okay.
26. Going on 27. You're 97.
Yeah,
We're the oldest. Gen Z.
yeah. We're the
Gen Z?
oldest. Yeah,
Wow.
we're the boomers of our generation.
Feels like it.
graduating high school when you guys were being born. That's crazy. That's wild to me, bro. It's trippy, man.
What message do you have, like, because I would argue, right, that, and maybe this is true, that when you grew up, and even when we grew up, individualism was highly valued, and it seems like things have changed a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think with social media and how, because I know I've had a Facebook since I was 10, so like social media is just fundamental to my life and like how I think about the world, and even more so to people younger than me. So I do think there is kind of this like, whatever is trending on TikTok right now, that's what a lot of kids want to look like. And then you're always going to have like the artsy types who do their own thing, but the more, for lack of a better term, like basic kids, I feel like are very into this like hyper samey kind of culture.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we live in like a first world or like a non-developing nation. We want fame. We don't want clean water. We have that.
What do the ladies think of this, situation? We have a millennial and a Gen Z, right?
Oh, about social media?
Yeah. Do you label yourself as Gen Z, Leia, and Andy? I know you label yourself. Well, if
I'm
you were
a
to
millennial, and I'm fine with that. And I don't do social media, and I'm very curmudgeonly because I'm old.
I actually think that individualism is still the problem. Like, I don't think it's.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
a
think
very
people
Soviet
are.
take, by the way. That's a very Soviet take.
Well, yeah, well,
Dude, way to call her out, dude.
Crush the individual.
no, so I think like.
Where were you for the pogroms?
Okay. I am a collectivist in spirit, though, but I like think that that's why everyone needs their very specific, catered to them sort of identity, because we are so individualistic, and I feel like that's every generation's problem. I liked what you said about us desiring fame. I think Gen Z actually mirrors Gen X a lot, and like there's this needless desire for fame, but millennials mirror boomers more, in that you guys are like, I don't really care about. You're more like bootstrapsy. So it's
We
really
are.
interesting.
We've got lots of grit. I say that.
yeah, for
Millennials
sure.
have grit.
Yes, I would like to be more like a millennial, and in a lot of ways, I get along with millennials a lot better.
They work harder.
Yeah, I like that.
Because we've got grit.
Right. I would say Gen Z is probably better at being lazy, though.
Yeah.
In a way. Because,
More
like,
efficient at being lazy.
Yeah, because it's like... Well, it's like if you grow up with the internet, I feel like you just kind of interface with it differently and more efficiently, so you can like sift information very quickly.
We don't care about the catch-22.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
but the flip side of like that whole internet thing is like the clout chasing, and like everyone wants to just like get ahead by any means they can.
Yeah, very.
Well, I ask you this question then, right? If we are hyper catered to, right? I was thinking about this concept the other day, right? We know how sometimes there can be a downside to being an only child, right? We watched House. At least he put it in a specific way. He's like guessing, you're an only child. Why? Because it's all about you, right? And not that I'm agreeing with that, but if we have a hyper catered experience, could that not have the effect of on us thinking that like kind of play right into our ego that we matter so much because we have a hyper customized experience? And what does that mean in a social dynamic when people, I would argue, get closer through shared experiences? If you're no longer having shared experiences across people that, unless you're living, we don't live geographically hyper section, right? Like, so you're almost inviting conflict if you don't come up with an answer, in my opinion, to that, and how do you, no solutions, only trade-offs, right?
Step outside your comfort zone.
Also, like, I know this.
Let me jump off on that comfort zone and because by having a hyper customized experience, does that not hinder your human growth by no longer having the randomness of life that is required of growth, right? A puritanical view of what your character or your archetype is, as opposed to the flawed nature that we find that sometimes humans are.
Well, I do think there is definitely less shared universal kind of cultural experience now, because like nobody, like for example, there was a huge uproar like 2 years ago when the Peanuts Thanksgiving Charlie Brown special or whatever didn't air on broadcast TV for the first time ever. And it's just like, it's a symptom of kind of the internet and media going digital, and now everything you could ever want is at your fingertips on demand, and there's no like, we're all sitting down on Christmas Eve to watch this movie on TV. Yeah.
Everybody's in their separate rooms watching it on their
Exactly, yeah. And so it's like you can maybe share that as a family in your living room, but there's no like, the whole neighborhood is watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. That's interesting. There's no We Are the World.
Yeah, no more We Are the World. I have a unique look at this because my daughter, who's a one of 8, she has 3 older sisters from my ex's previous marriage, and we have 5 together. She has been dating an only child for like 4 or 5 years now, and so when he gets enough of being alone, he comes over to our house and he has all the kids and he gets to share.
Yeah.
And they drive him nuts, and then they get to go back. And my daughter, who's been the oldest of these 5 kids, she gets to go away to his house and like get that
and
only
enjoy.
child experience.
Yeah.
But I think there's something intricate that comes when you have to share, because I don't think any of us really want to share. But when you're made to share with your brothers or friends or whoever, there's something in you that's like, it's not all about me.
Sure.
Even though I want it to be, it can't be. And when you don't
Yeah.
have that, I think something kind of weird happens to you. We've all known kids that are only children, and they're always just a smidgen off a little bit.
I like how he points right at me, dude. You're like,
Are you an only
Are
child?
you an only child?
dude, you used to beat up your little brother. I don't want to hear shit from you, dude. You fucking.
That's what I'm
It was like
saying.
watching
That was-
Tekken and someone not having a controller.
Wait, Dyson, do you have a bunch of brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I'm one of 7.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of 8. So
Okay,
yeah. And I agree. We used to wail on each other. My brothers and sisters. They made me very tough.
But I think if you have this customized experience, like, oh my God, you're so special. Mommy, daddy love you. Whatever you want is yours. You can be anything. You can do anything. Rather than your older brother being like, come here, dork.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. I got that from sports. You want to know
You
the
got that
truth?
from sports?
I got that from sports.
Well,
dude. I
that is
got
good.
bodied and bullied from like everything from inner city kids to like rich kids who were like better genetics than me.
That's, that's the benefit of
I
sports.
like that's very careful language. The inner city kids.
And then rich kids. I said the rich kids with better genetics because there was a
These
kid from the
thugs
suburbs.
Came into my
I did not
neighborhood.
say
Just
Look,
laugh.
you got me
Just
on the
laugh.
breathalyzer magic carpet joke. You're not getting me on anything else, Arturo.
What color were these inner city kids, Harrison?
That's great.
I don't see. I'm just fucking with it. I'm just fucking with it. I don't see.
Stop it, Jamal. I don't see color.
No, and that's the crazy thing, right? I think our brains, in a way, right? Like we're pattern making machines, but you need data, right? You need different amount of data so that you can. Sometimes you're just making assessments based on the information that you have, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I differentiate like racism from some guy in Kansas that has never seen a Hispanic and thinks, oh, okay, whatever. Well, first I can't play it into the stereotype. Otherwise, guess what? That holds everybody back. And he's not gonna understand my experience, right? So we have to build the shared experience first, so that he's like, oh, maybe they're not as different as I am, right? Now, if he realizes that, okay, yeah, we have a good time at a barbecue, but fuck that guy, like he's taking my job, then that's a different thing. Then it's more like personal,
Very
right?
personal, absolutely. If somebody doesn't like you that knows you,
Yeah. And circling back to the earlier thing, right?
I mean,
We have to unite.
ridiculous.
And you weren't here for this earlier, where we're talking about, well, maybe we have to play into not only our intellect, but also our emotion, right? And I think there is a big difference between, I think everybody has the right to feel or think anything, right? But then it's, what is your choice? What do you do with that?
that
And I
information,
think there's a big difference between that and we knew this growing up, right? But it seems like today, and I don't understand why, it seems like it almost feels like you can't have thoughts, ideas, or feelings. Like you have to self-police because that is wrong for some reason. And I don't buy that shit.
Yeah.
I think you have to find your like outlet or whatever the fuck, you know. You gotta like write or like I don't know, express it in like a painting or some shit.
Like, for example, you were telling me, I thought you were Burmese the whole time. This guy's telling me you're Burmese, you know? Like,
I don't know why. You're like Malaysian, right?
right, but then once
Burma
again,
is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's close.
Okay.
pattern making.
Oh, it's close.
right?
Oh,
It's
so I'm
fine.
just racist.
I
Cool.
would also
Oh fuck.
I would also say, in sort of a semantic kind of counterpoint to what you're saying,
Yeah.
you can have whatever thoughts and feelings you want as long as you don't tweet about them. So,
Yes.
like, that's
Yes.
the thing that kind of gets me is like, guys, you just don't have to share it if you think it's going to be edgy.
Yeah.
But,
Why?
I don't know. I mean, Twitter is such a small portion of the population anyway, so it's
Eric-
like...
I just want to say something real quick. Eric Crabiel is my handler.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything I say that could be perceived as problematic, I think he's a more diplomatic person than I am.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I know I can be very combative and very abrasive. So I
Yeah.
talk to like Eric and be like, yo, how do I come off less like an asshole to this person?
Listen, you can only come off as yourself, but
true.
I really like, anything that I say is their ideas, right? And this is the thing. This is why I don't think so much believe in censorship, because I think to that point, it makes things taboo, right? I think you beat bad ideas with good ideas, and if you can't, then you're not that good at making the good fucking ideas. Yeah. Let somebody make them, because I'm willing to be convinced, right? Why shouldn't they be on Twitter? Like, well, because I think, and we've spoken about this, I think that you are allowed to be a racist asshole, right? That's a choice. Whatever, however you may. Let's say I have a neighbor. Let's say that's like, oh, this fucking Mexican guy that lives next door, right? He might be a fucking wetback, but like he's one of the good ones. He helped me ice out.
one of the good ones.
He helped me
Oh, no.
ice out my my front lawn, my driveway. And yeah, sometimes he doesn't fucking do his leaves, but whatever, I'm not gonna bust his balls. I'll take that fucking guy over the lady that that calls the cops on me because I had a party that was too long and I was not following the rules.
That is true.
Yeah. People who are like will push you
And
aside.
and
if that
people
makes
would
sense.
argue that the not racist person is the person that called the cops on me. And this is why I really take it like I think white people should be able to make racial edgy humor, because that is the least racist things that you can say, unless you're pandering to me. What am I like? And circling back to that, right? So it's like, so in that sense, I'm like, yeah, the racist person can make a choice. And that's where I'm saying, like, the difference between feeling and thinking and choice, right? And I can make a choice not to associate with anybody that's a fucking racist asshole, right? Like, now if they're coming into my sphere, that's a little different, right? Now they're making a choice of coming to my sphere to disrupt me. Right. But if they're just racist, like, fuck him. Like, do I care that he works for GM? I'm not gonna tweet at GM that this guy's a fucking racist asshole. Fuck him. If it impacts this job, they'll find out on their own.
It's not your job to deliver the final blow.
Right, and I think
noble of you.
I think it
Judge,
feeds,
jury, and executioner on Twitter.
and
Absolutely.
I think it's a byproduct of the hyper personalization, attacking the ego that we have, thinking that our fucking opinion matters more than it fucking does.
Agreed.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean...
On that note, can we talk about some day laborers that I was hanging out with? Seriously. All right. I was fixing my roof. I was at Lowe's. I brought a bunch of shingles because I'm doing my own roof. And literally, as I'm as I'm wheeling out the shingles to my car, it was like January 6th was about to happen near my car. like all like the day laborers were like trabajo, like they wanted my. I was like no trabajo, no gracias, está bien. And I put it all in, and they were all disappointed. They were all like excited. They were like, "Oh, this is about to be a job potentially."
Yeah.
So I was like, I felt like I had to be the very bad news, but it was like January 6th. They're like, "Oh shit, there's one right there." Like,
They're like, you're not doing it right. That's not how you carry those shingles.
they see a bunch of shingles. It's like candy to.
They were just sitting there. They're like, that white boy's gonna kill himself.
Yeah, he can't. He's not doing this all by himself. And I'm like, no, I'm doing this on the span of 3 days.
I mean, I think to your point a second ago, though, Arturo, it's definitely the quiet racism that is more genuinely damaging. Like, pretty much any time, all the time, until you're getting to the point of like genocide, and then open dialogues become equally dangerous.
We're not calling for like the death of a certain people. There's like I think people can tell that I'm not like a really malicious or like an evil, spiteful person.
Well, yeah, I think you still have to convince Leia with that.
The
Irish
Irish thing was
Sure.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I have no opinion on you at all.
Oh, that's good. I think I have a Irish grandmother.
I was gonna
My
say,
Irish
she's
grandmother's
like,
still alive.
I
She's
think
such a
of you
sweet
So
lady.
very little.
I love her so much.
Zero
I wish like
opinion.
she could change her mind, but like at the same day, like also it's not gonna persuade. You're not like actively posting against the Irish. You're not like protesting. Like
I don't hate the Irish.
yeah,
Plus, you're allowed to say stuff about
I
it.
guess so. And Irish and Italian still like white Europeans.
Italians are almost losing it.
Italians are almost just.
Get them in like camp.
Well, here's the thing about Italians.
The only thing they can organize is crime. That's
Wow.
Those sauce monkeys also did the Holocaust. Okay?
Look.
They did.
They're the
Everyone-
worst at it. Because they can't fucking get it up.
Yeah. The only thing to keep Mussolini in power was to make the trains run on time. What kind of autistic shit is that?
They
Hey, he did do it. He did do it.
I was saying the trains do run on time.
They do. The food is great.
German trains though?
German trains, I don't know.
I'm sure it is.
I was talking about this with a friend. Like, do you think like people fought for like the top bunk in Auschwitz?
Yeah, it's definitely bottom bunk, man.
It's definitely like,
bottom
I
bunk.
mean, do they? If my thing is, do they pick you from the top to the bottom? I don't remember. Like, not that I was there or not, but like as a young Jewish kid, you're like forced to read about this shit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
Oh, did you have to read about?
The rest of us do it too.
Yeah, but
You
did
know-
have
the
to
Soviets
read,
really?
like-
I thought they made you forget about that.
I'm from Raleigh.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Harrison, you wouldn't have to read about it if, Auschwitz, the immersive reality experience. Was like some AR goggles, instead of a bunch of foundations, like. I had this idea, and this is how American.
Yeah,
This is how American. This is how American.
This should be a great sketch too.
Incredibly American.
This is how I listen to my red, white, and blue. Okay. So I went to Auschwitz-Birkenau, and I saw a bunch of like Jewish people, right? Like with yarmulke, and if you go there, they walk you through the tour, whatever, right? Like everybody's very somber, but. In its essence, it's a tourist attraction. Can we agree on that, right? It creates revenue.
It is,
It also
yeah.
is a cultural attraction, so let's take that into account. But unless you're Jewish, like I think a lot of people are removed from it, right? Like they don't. The magnitude of it escapes them, and how could it not, right? It's almost impossible. Yeah. So I'm thinking, and this can be a little extreme. It can be even done at night, right? Darkness for a major effect. You go in. It's a premium product, maybe only seasonally. The guides, right? They're wearing Nazi German uniforms, right?
My God.
Soldier uniforms, and then everybody puts on almost like a coat that looks like it is like a Shallow Prisoners thing. That way, and you have AR experience to where like there's spotlights, right? Like you have German shepherds and everything, right? Like when there's the wall where they used to kill people with where people are terrified.
That's truly a haunted
all of a
house.
sudden you hear like bang,
gonna say,
bang,
yeah.
and
What is the
and
difference?
no, and all of a sudden, like you would 100% be entirely in the shoes and be able to understand the gravity of the situation, and maybe not be able to dismiss it as easily to where it's like once again, like you're able to have an open experience because shared experience, right? How is somebody else that is so closed off supposed to relate.
Well, at least you're making it miserable. You're not.
Maybe you
making
send
it fun.
Kanye there. Maybe you send
Like, oh,
Kanye
it's
there,
time
and
to
then
go
you
to
tell
the
him,
showers. It's
how
like
do
a
you feel
mess.
now?
Yeah,
You
you
know?
need some sensitivity.
You have to really. I know this sounds weird. If you want someone to pay for that, like you have to really monetize suffering.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, okay.
We already do.
I'm not saying you should do it. I'm not saying you should do it.
Schindler's List.
But
monetized.
white liberals will pay for that.
I just think we need to be more honest with who we are, right? Like,
Yeah.
we like, you know, like as an
You make a
immigrant,
fair
we
point.
know like
They
America,
might. I don't know if they will.
America does nasty shit outside, so we like have our standard of living, right? And there's a lot of things in America, and at the end of the day, do you want to be number 2 country or do you want to live in the number 1 country? That comes with some trade-offs. You know, like there is.
Do you think
no
we're number
solution
1
here.
Who's number 1?
Well,
I mean, I don't, you know.
well, whoever can beat us up is number 1.
Okay.
And until somebody comes up, you know, we will actually use our might to stay number 1. Because this is the thing: for what's safer for the American people, right? Yes. To be the strongest one or not, whether that's right in the whole world, right? But we don't live in a one world utopia, right? So until everybody lays down their arms.
Yeah, we're not all eating bugs yet in a pod.
We know what happens when you don't have power, right? You're at the whim of other people.
Well, I think at that point on the world stage, it's like not to get too political, but it's like you kind of have to throw morals out the window when you get into such raw power dynamics as like the US versus China, because it's really just like two institutions battling for the better seat in the house for their group of people.
Yes.
And it's like you should generally strive to get the best seat, right?
Not for the people at all, especially not China, and not here either. It's for
Right.
money.
Well, yeah, but
And that's the issue with the systems, right? There's like a lot of the systems in a vacuum have no issue, but it's like, okay, who draws these arbitrary lines that we're gonna draw, right? Who draws the lines for the good of the people, right? And if that comes down to a person, then that's right for corruption. It's almost you almost want something that plays into human nature. Why is Tesla successful? Because they made their car sexy, so it attached status. So guess what? People like all of a sudden want an electric EV, not only an EV, a Tesla, right? In a certain way, and capitalism, right? It's like your own personal gain, right? And that's why you have to curb it, right? With regulation, because otherwise, strong men abound, right? It would just be just one person at the top, right? And arguably, there's a bunch of people, but at least it's a bunch of people, even if they think similarly, right? So, I think we have a difficulty with the not seeing sometimes, because we're in these bubbles, the trade-offs of the other side, right? Like, and it's like, because if we're living in the right and wrong world, then that means that there's a solution. But that's only from our perspective. And once again, in a hyper customized experience, right? How can we even know what is up or down, or whether we're compromised or not? How do we know?
I don't know how we're compromised, but I wanted to add on to something because you talked about money. I want to go back on that. Do you think money provides us more status or more protection? As like a capitalist society,
Scale?
just in general.
I think it depends. I think like entering the upper middle class and above it provides status, and then after that, like the richest people around, you wouldn't even know a lot of the time because they drive a more humble car or live in a more humble house. It really is just like protection now and for your like progeny. I think for like the less rich you are, funnily, the more money you have, the more it's about status. I think to really, really rich people, that's so out the window. I think it's more about protection of stuff we probably don't even know about.
Sure.
Wow.
Interesting.
yeah, because most rich people do not want to be known. They don't want to be famous. They like try as hard as possible to make their finances so opaque that Forbes
scary.
is never gonna know how much money they have.
Fly under the radar. Sure. I mean, it's smart.
Like, not to get conspiratorial, but like The Rothschild family, the Rothschild
Bro,
family is
I knew I brought the right guy
extremely
here.
wealthy in ways that we will never know, simply because they have such complex family offices and wealth management systems.
Yeah, they're in different assets too. It's like liquidated in a real estate or like a car or something like that. Like
Yeah.
you can move money around. in different-
Well, the funny thing about America is that
Think
you
about
know
that.
you only pay taxes on earned income. You don't pay taxes on debt. And if you're able to use debt to all of a sudden make, gains at least on paper that they can finance more debt, you really never need to pay taxes.
If
Exactly.
your money is not liquidated, you're not rich. I'm sorry. Like,
If your money is not.
if your money is not like in assets, you're not rich.
Yeah.
So you're saying if you have too much cash, you're not rich?
If you don't own property,
You
How about
have
that?
to put your money in other stuff, not
Yeah.
only to avoid taxes. Yeah.
you have to have other like offshore bank accounts and stuff like that level of rich.
Yeah.
Offshore bank accounts, right?
You got to put like money in like Panama or some shit.
I love it.
Or, like,
Panama, you
yeah, where it doesn't get like taxed.
What do you work for, FTX? Yeah.
I don't know, man. This is all the shit that I've heard from movies to like rich people that are like, I have money in like Switzerland. It's neutral, and they don't tax me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's a whole nother level that I don't even know about.
You have to pay up front.
That's
what-
really creepy.
I bet,
It's really
dude.
creepy.
Super creepy.
Really?
Feels weird there.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because there's so
tell
much
me.
money and affluence.
Yeah, it's weird. It's super creepy. There's like palm trees and shit.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's really.
It was neutral, and I don't remember World War II, but I think the Jews all stayed there and shit.
I think a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's definitely a place for like human trafficking or like
There's definitely some people there that don't want to be there.
Interesting.
Yeah. Harrison was about to annex another piece of land. He's like,
He's
yeah,
like,
the
"Fuck,
Jews,
and
the
the
Jews were
Switzerland."
there before, by the way. I think
I think
belongs
they did
to us.
fine. Yeah.
Israel
I call out
too.
every country
Yeah,
that
it's
was
like you guys
like.
have been everywhere. I don't know.
I'm calling out every country.
Right.
Now we have to gentrify the West Bank, guys. It's all.